Okay guys, welcome back to another math class from home. We are doing lesson 98 today. It's a very interesting lesson today. We're talking about relations and functions. Okay, so go ahead and get this in your notes. A relation is a pairing of two sets of information. So we think about a phone book, okay? In a phone book, we pair names with phone numbers, okay? That's a name-number relation. If there's a basketball game, okay, they would have a relation between the jersey number and the number of fouls that player has. That's a number-number relation, okay? So when we take two sets of information and pair them, we're talking about a relation, okay? Now, some relations are functions, okay? Go ahead and get this in your notes. A function takes one input value and assigns it exactly one output value. Okay? Get that in your notes. Pause it if you have to. Okay? Now we're going to use two examples of two sets of numbers to see if these sets of numbers form a function. Okay? So let's look at our first set. On this first set, we're comparing the number of tickets to the price you're going to pay based on that number of tickets. If you buy 0 tickets, you pay $0. If you buy 1 ticket, you pay $7. 2 tickets, you pay $14. 3 tickets, you pay $21. Okay, in this case, for each output, or each input, I have a unique output that matches up with that number. Okay, that's a function. Now let's look at this example. This is an example in your book, and it's talking about this kid getting to school, and depending on the number of minutes before school he gets there, the number of kids that are there, okay, and he keeps track of this over a number of days, okay? So one day he got there 4 minutes before school started, 50 kids were already there. The next day, 10 minutes before school, there were 20 kids already there. 12 minutes before school, 12 kids were there. Now on this next day, he got there 10 minutes before school, there were 25 kids there. 6 minutes before school, 40 kids were there. 4 minutes before school, 60 kids were there. Now what I want you to notice is on this first day he got there 4 minutes before school started and there were 50 kids, okay? And the last day he kept track, he got there 4 minutes before school, that's our input, there were 60 kids already there, okay? If for this to be a function, when we have 4 as an input, we've got to always have the same output, but I don't. On this day when he got here 4 minutes early, 50 kids were there. On this day when he got there 4 minutes early, 60 kids were there. Okay? We do not have this situation. Okay? One input value and assigns it exactly one output. On this one, when we have 4 as an input, we have 50 and 60 as outputs. Same thing with 10. He got there 10 minutes before school, 20 kids were there. On another day, he got there 10 minutes before school, 25 kids were there. Okay? For this to be a function, this unique input of 10 must give us the same output every time, and it doesn't. It gives us 20 and 25. So this relationship is a function. This one is not a function. It is a relation, but it's not a function. Okay? So let's talk about this as it relates to people's height. Okay? It's a good way to think about functions. Okay? Think about people and their height. Okay? I've just got an example here. People and their height. Just say some guy named John is 6 feet, Sue is 5 feet, James is 6¼ feet, Chris is 6 feet, Mary is 5½ feet. Okay? Now, I end up having 2 people that are 6 feet. That's okay. Because this person is Chris and this person is John. Okay? Now, it's possible for more than one person to have the same height, but John is not going to have 2 different heights. John only has one height. Okay? Sue only has one height. James only has one height. Chris only has one height. Mary only has one height. Now, it just happens that Chris and John have the same height, but that's okay. Because I have all unique inputs. Okay? Now, if I were to list John again with a different height, then this would not be a function. But it doesn't make any sense because John only has one height. Okay? Now we're going to talk about how to test a graph to see if it's a function. It's called the vertical line test. Okay? So if I've got a graph of a line and it says, use the vertical line test to see if this is a function. The vertical line test says, if I draw a vertical line at anywhere on the graph of that line and it crosses the line more than once, it's not a function. Okay? So I'm going to just do some vertical lines on the graphs of these lines here. Okay? Here's a vertical line. It only crosses this graph once. Only crosses once. Only crosses once. There is nowhere on the graph of this line that I can draw a vertical line and cross this more than once. This one is a function. Okay? Now let's look at this parabola. Is there anywhere on this parabola that I can draw a vertical line and cross the parabola more than once? Let's try. That just crosses once. That just crosses once. That just crosses once. There's nowhere on the graph of this parabola that I will cross the parabola more than once with a vertical line. This one is a function. Okay? Look at this parabola though. There are several places where I could draw a vertical line and I will cross this graph more than once. Okay? I'll cross this parabola more than once. This one is not a function. Okay? So that's the vertical line test. It's a really cool test. If you have the graph of a relation, you can discover whether it's a function or not by using the vertical line test. Okay? I want you to go ahead and do A, B, C, and D on the practice set. Okay? And then start your video back up and we will check it. Okay, so A, B, C, and D, all they want us to do is say, is this the function or not? Okay? So on the first two, you needed to do a vertical line test. Well, on this sine curve, there's nowhere I can draw a vertical line and cross that wave more than once. So this is a function, yes, it is a function. It passes the vertical line test. On this one, I've crossed it twice. This is not a function. It does not pass the vertical line test. Okay? Now we have to see here, based on the inputs and outputs, whether this one is a function. Okay? When I have 3, I get 5. When I have 2, I get 6. When I have 1, I get 7. When I have 2, I get, already had 2. Up here, when I got 2, I got 6. Down here, when I put in 2, I get 8. Nope. If I have the same input, I gotta have the same output. This is not a function. Same thing with 3. When I inputted 3, I got a 5. But down here, when I inputted 3, I get a 9. Nope. Not a function. Down here, input is 2, I get output of 5. Input 3, I get 4. Input 4, I get 3. This one is a function. Okay? Okay. You guys are going to do functions a lot more next year and the following years. Okay? So this may be the first introduction you guys have had to functions. And if it's a little strange and you don't quite get it, that's okay. Because we're going to keep coming back to it, okay? As we hit in your next math classes, okay? Okay. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will be recording one for you later. Bye.